Hey, you. Welcome to a new episode of the podcast You Are, because I'm here to remind you of the truth that you already are. You are. You exist. So you are whole and complete. You are truth, wisdom, life itself, pure consciousness. And I'm here to remind you of that and to help you and inspire you into embodying this into your daily life. And speaking of inspiring, this episode is a request, or actually I received on my YouTube channel a few weeks ago, I guess, from a subscriber, the question that I could make a video about being authentic. And it was actually kind of funny when I read this comment, because my mind was questioning this, like, okay, authenticity, what does this really mean? How can I explain this? What does this mean to me? Or how do I feel about this? And suddenly, a few weeks later, aka today, I just felt it. It just came to me. And then I thought, okay, what if I just make an episode about this for my podcast instead of making a video for my YouTube channel? Because I know 90.99% of my subscribers are there for the twin flame journey. And this podcast is so much more. Like, I just want to speak about remembering the truth of what you are in general. And there's so much that I can share with you guys that can be for everyone. Activated by the twin flame or not, it doesn't matter. I want to reach so much more people, and that's one of my intentions, to make or create this podcast to even reach a wider audience than I attract on my YouTube channel. So here I am. Welcome. Thank you for being here and tuning in. What does living authentically mean to you? Can you drop into this question and feel? Or maybe you notice that your mind is making a definition for this. Being authentic and living authentically is actually a big, powerful act of rebellion. And why is that? You know, most of the people on this planet live a life that isn't even theirs. And with that, I mean that people choose to live a certain way, make choices when it comes to the job that they want, the house that they want to live in, based on their minds. But our minds is a program. It's a hard drive that saves conditions, things you learned at school, in society, things you saw at home with your parents, and you are conditioned a certain way that if you do this or that, then you are worthy. Then you can receive recognition, success, more money. So we do certain things and we choose certain things because the mind thinks that then we will be accepted. Then we are normal. But most of the times, these things, these choices, are not something your heart and your soul want for you. That's why they feel heavy, serious. And you might as well feel within that something isn't quite right about this choice, this way of living and looking at life and the world. Because it's not authentic. Because it comes from the programmed minds. And that's thus why you live a life that isn't even yours. It comes from the conditions, from the ego minds. And the ego mind loves to constantly identify itself with experiences, with emotions, with expectations, with certain roles that you are claiming, such as being a mom. I don't know, for example, being a police officer or a fireman or a teacher, whatever it is. It loves to claim that it is this. And so when you identify with these roles that you are playing in this human experience, you start to behave a certain way in which the mind thinks that it's suitable for this role. So maybe you dress a certain way, maybe you choose a certain interior for your house. I don't know, these are just examples. But you aren't feeling, you aren't checking in with yourself what really resonates, what lifts up your soul, what opens your heart, what does make you feel attractive, in which clothes, when you dress a certain way, what does feel good to you, instead of, yeah, but I am a mom, I am this and that, so I will dress a certain way. And even in the spiritual communities as well. I had this too. When I started to being interested in spirituality, I wanted to dress myself in a hippie. I started to wear clothes from the 60s and a lot of necklaces and shirts with the moon and the stars on it. Because my mind thought, now I am spiritual, so I want to dress myself like a spiritual person, whatever that might be that your mind thinks is being spiritual and how this might look like in how I dress and how I do my hair. But then after a few years, I started to feel like I just want to dress feminine. And sometimes I just want to dress myself more casual and even masculine. It all depends on the seasons in my life, the phases in my life. And I stopped less and less thinking about how I should look because I identify as this and that. And I can give you multiple examples in your human experience in which you are not authentic. So, not being authentic and not living authentically means you are approaching life from the perspective of your programmed mind. And it's a true rebellion if you start to become what you've always been, which is, of course, pure consciousness and the soul. And the soul also likes certain flavors in life, and you will feel this. It will open your hearts. You will start to feel a certain fulfillment within. not from a place of identification, but from a place of feeling free to do whatever you want. Because it feels right for you, because it resonates, not because society expects this from you or people in your environment expect things from you. The mind thinks that all these expectations you need to complete or fulfill, and then you will be seen and be loved and worthy again and be chosen, whatever. And when you start to take these small steps of expressing yourself more authentically, you do this from a place of love within and happiness and joy within. And that's already enough, because you already are. And you don't have to prove anything anymore. It's okay. And that is so freeing. That is becoming what you've always been. That's listening to this inner guidance and inner voice. And the more you do this, the more you will love yourself and life. And that's also giving yourself the permission to live life for yourself. Not for society, not for family and friends or a partner, no. Only for you, because it feels so freaking good. Because it opens your heart. Because it gives you the feeling of constantly want to dance and feeling grateful for what is and for how you are building up your life. Without needing to explain yourself to other people? No. You do this for you, and that's the only thing that actually matters. Because you create life and this human experience from the inside out. And I can tell you from my own experience, I've always been a sacred rebel when I was a child, when I was a teenager, but I was still too afraid and insecure to really act from this place. I hated being told what I needed to do. I hated feeling expectations from others about me. Because when I felt this, I had the urge to do the opposites. And also, I'm currently creating a lot of content online through this podcast. That's something I'm building now. But also my YouTube channels in Dutch and in English, my online services. All these things are an expression of my own unique process. Being authentic and expressing this comes from a place of uniqueness. Because yes, you are pure consciousness, but you are also an individual with individual gifts and desires from a place of love and wholeness within. And I'm sharing so much now the past couple of years, like 2 years now. I already was sharing a lot when I was very active on Instagram since 2020. But I'm sharing things that I was so afraid of listening to and believing within myself. And with listening to, I mean listening to my inner guidance. I felt so much, and I received so many clarity actually during my years of being a teenager, but I didn't saw it in my environment at school with my classmates. So I thought I was just living in a fantasy. But actually, there was this inner voice and strength that already wanted to express itself uniquely, although it didn't saw anything from this inner knowing outside of itself. That's acting from a place of rebellion, being true to this, trusting on this, because it feels so, so good. The truth is always something liberating. It's always an act of rebellion, because you are doing the opposite of what you see, of what you've been taught, of what you've been conditioned. You are so powerful, and the power always comes from within. And that's also how you will become a magnet. Not only because you express yourself a certain way, you speak your truth about what is right for you, what resonates for you, but also because you embody a certain energy that is so in alignment with the expression of truth, with soul, with unconditional love, with joy. People will look at you. They can't explain why, but they will feel attracted towards you. Because you claimed the fact that you are a unique expression of the infinite, abundant, unconditional consciousness that you are. You chose to live from this place, and this will inspire other people as well. Just like this podcast that I hope may inspire you or activated you in certain ways. Thank you so much for listening today. If you want to leave a comment, I guess that's possible on Spotify. If you want to hear more episodes like these, feel free and welcome to subscribe. And I will be back soon. Much love. Until the next one.